The following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Sup, Deadites? Sorry this took so long. Coppa's got me slightly shook. So, let's continue with part 5 of What If Deku was a Guardian. Deku went pale at what was just played for him.
What's wrong, Deku?
Ghost asked. Oh, and if I wasn't clear there, the ghost we know and love is rolling with Katsuki. Deku still isn't responding, and Sloane slaps him. Snap out of it, damn it! This compound needs its leader, not a blithering idiot. Everyone looked at Sloane with horror in their eyes. However, it worked. Good to have you back, soldier. Now tell us what you heard. Deku collected himself and told them the gist of things. The hive are stirring. We thought they were sleeping in the moon since their prince was sealed by Erismorn's team. We were wrong. The hive are working on creating untold abominations, and we're conversing with... Deku paused, but Sakura finished for him. She didn't know hive, but was able to make a logical leap.
They're speaking with their king, Oryx. Weren't they, Deku?
All eyes went wide. Deku was out of it again. Don't touch him, Sloane. He's thinking. Katsuki had seen that blank face on Deku many a time before he had done something epic, and it always involved massive planning. He had no idea what Deku had up his sleeve, but this would be interesting. Katsuki does his job as second in command. Sloane, have your people on full alert. I want to know if the hive so much as sneeze. Kamina, get that damn catapult online. I don't give a frack what you gotta do. Mina, go to the tower and speak with Banshee and Cade. I'll get Ikora on the line. Move out, Guardians! That's right, y'all. Katsuki is second in command, while Sloane handles the defense of the compound. They all had their marching orders, and Deku was still zoned out.
Does this happen often, Katsuki?
Sakura asked. Nah, his plans must have plans. But I have a rough idea of what he's got in store. We're going to the moon. Katsuki made to the communications console and dialed up Ikora. She was bound to have some knowledge on the moon. Deku had a lot himself, since he worked at Hatsume Industries when they were designing a prison for the hive, but it was possibly dated. Now, the trap for the hive was never meant to be a permanent solution, and anyone who thought that was so was an idiot. And yes, I replaced clove spray with Hatsume. It only took me 5 videos to do that. Sorry about that. Back to the story. Mina was on her way to speak with Banshee on expediting their order when Rahul hailed her over. I'ma step in here and say that at the moment, this is year 1 Rahul. All D1 players should know what I mean by that. Ah, Mrs. Bakugo. I was just going through the archives when I found something I think belongs to your leader. Would you mind giving it to him? My people were working like maniacs to find him a proper gift for helping us upgrade our equipment. Yes, I'm gonna blame all that BS on old equipment. Rahul strikes me as an old school guy, but even if that was the case, he'd know when it's time for an upgrade. Mina grabbed the item and gasped. In her hands was a restored version of Deku's bunny locket that his wife had gotten for their first anniversary. Said locket had 2 photos in it. One was a rather innocent, was Deku and Himiko sharing a kiss on their wedding day. The other one was very promiscuous and definitely not safe for work. Mina was so riled up by that photo that Let's say she had to excuse herself in Deku's place in the tower for a few hours. I can see Mina as a switch hitter. Holy crap! I've been at it for how long? Mina howled when she saw a clock. Needless to say, she booked it back to the compound. No one was the wiser on her little side trip. Deku was back in working order, so Mina just put this on his neck from behind. This belongs to you, boss. Deku took one look at what was on his neck and came to tears. Don't thank me. Believe it or not, Rahul and his team found and refurbished this for you to its finest detail. Deku took a look at Mina and knew exactly what she had done. So you opened it, huh? Mina blushed a little while Deku brought her in for a hug. Thank you, Mina. I'll said thanks to Rahul and have Katsuki revoke the whole 1,000 deaths statement amongst our people. Deku had the main crew gather. Deku stated what Katsuki had thought he would. They had to go to the moon. The hive aren't going to be our only problem. House Exile is said to occupy the moon, so it won't be easy pickings there. Damn it, Deku thought to himself. Unfortunately, we can't touch down directly there, and you'll have to set up networks before you can really do much of anything, unless you feel like going on foot. House Exile has disabled most of the relays, Kamina added. Great. We can never catch a friggin' break, Katsuki thought to himself. Kamina had gotten the catapult working, and they all made a game plan. Something this big had to involve the tower. It was just too important. Phoenix got the honor of diving into hive territory, while a team sent by the tower would be working on getting a network online. As for Fire Team name, we're going with Delta. Fire Team Delta was led into a honey trap. The comms relay was, well, bait. Luckily for them, Deku strayed off his plan. Mina opened with a golden gun. Hurry up and get that array online. Mina hollered at Delta and they complied. Mina went to town with her invective that she just got from Ikora. Katsuki let out small explosions on the other side and cleaned up with his Suros regime, while Deku took out the leader of the troop with a Havoc Fist, followed by a few shots from his Hawk Moon. The Fallen did not want them there. Well, like it or not, Phoenix was getting this job done. A few Shanks managed to get the jump on Mina, or so they thought. One acid veil and they were toast. Delta was flabbergasted. We're done, sir. We'll get the other nodes up and running, but the main junction is good to go. Delta leader saluted Deku and they were off. Come on, y'all. Did you really think I was gonna do the moon without this scene? Phoenix sent all three of their ghosts to work on the seal. But before they got there, Ghost noticed the body of a guardian.
Nothing. Not even the lights. Where's his ghost?
Sagira asked. The three made for the seal, and Deku laid eyes on the mysterious woman, a strange-looking exo. The two locked eyes for a moment, and when Deku looked away, she was gone. He'd keep that one to himself. No need to alert the team on that one. The ghosts make leeway.
You may want to step back, guys,
Mina's ghost informed. Deku's suspicions were spot on. The hive were close to breaking out by force. Katsuki, as soon as they're out, hit him with a Havoc Fist version of your howitzer impact. Mina and I will clean up shop with the Nova and Blade Dancer. Let's get ready to party, Katsuki howled. That plan worked somewhat, but they just weren't prepared for the sheer numbers of the hive. Their supers were drained, so they had to duck and dodge through cover and fire at the remaining acolytes, Thrall and Knights. Not to mention a Shrieker. Katsuki threw a pulse grenade and followed up with a Gjallarhorn strike to the Knight. Unfortunately, said Knight saw that coming and put up a shroud. What he didn't see was a cloaked Deku going in to push him. It ended the night. They went down to notice some strange crystal. Deku falls to his knees and clutches his head as the visions enter his mind. Various images are being shown to him of guardians having the light sucked out of them, and even seeing the Traveler crumble.
Deku, are you okay?
Sagira worriedly asks her guardian. I think the Traveler just warned me. That thing is a piece of the Traveler. I don't know how these sons of bitches got it, but we need to free it. It's how they're powering the Light Eater, and it's hurting him. Sagira links in, and also patches Kamine in for added support.
This is gonna take a while, Phoenix. Even with all your ghost and me working on it. Bunker down.
And bunker down they did. The hive threw every obstacle they could to foil their plans. Thrall, knights, wizards, shriekers, even an ogre. There were even these dark, shadowy night things that kept coming at them, however. That's when Deku saw a katana that seemed to just call to him straight into the floor.
Careful, Deku. That thing seems to have darkness in it.
Sagira warned. Maybe so, but I can sense the light in it. He pulled the sword out like a hot knife through butter, and another image flashed in his mind. The light shining from the Traveler. Lightbringer. The name just rolled off his tongue, and it seemed right. Deku charged at the knight as it was going for Mina, and parried its blade, following up with a series of horizontal and vertical slices. I've got the Shadow Knights. You guys protect the ghost and kill everything else. Deku gave the order, and his team followed it. Katsuki was a little jealous of that sword, though. Deku just wrecked with the sword. Lightbringer matches whatever element he wants due to his quirk. The Suba was in the form of the Traveler, and the Habaki was a green bunny
Head.
This blade was literally made for him. Katsuki and Mina were out of ammo and energy. A wizard went in for the fetish, only to be stopped by Deku doing a solar beam slash. Alright, Phoenix. It's free. Their days of hurting the Traveler are done. Just to be clear, Deku is not losing that sword at all. I might have someone design it for me later on, but for now, all I can really do for y'all is give you a description. Fireteam Phoenix bumped fists and returned home for now. They've dealt the Hive a heavy blow in foiling their plans on the matter. However, we all know that this ain't over. We're gonna jump a week into the future. Deku was having a ride on his Sparrow when he noticed a purple ship had crash landed and it was smoking. Deku went balls to the walls and got there in moments. He empowered Lightbringer with solar energy and slashed the cockpit open and grabbed an awoken female in odd tattered armor, and booked it before that ship went critical. They made it out with seconds to spare. Fade a few days later into the compound, to Deku sleeping in a chair in his dwellings. The woman awoke, and she noticed she was, well, practically naked, save for a t-shirt that was clearly not hers. She was certain nothing untoward was done. She attempted to get up and fell on the edge of the bed. That woke Deku right up and gave him quite the sight. First off, have a seat. You're safe here, miss. I've had my tailor measure you, and your new garment's on its way. Now, for introductions. My name is Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku. I am the leader of this community. Her eyes went wide at the name Deku. We're currently in my room, and you've been hogging my bed for 3 days. May I ask your name? The woman was slightly taken aback by his kindness. My name is Petra Venj. I'm an envoy to the Queen, and I must return to... That's when a doctor and the tailor let themselves in of Deku's grace. You're not going anywhere. You're not fit for space travel, dear. I'm not letting you leave until you've healed completely. Petra had suffered multiple bruises and contusions, abrasions, torn ligaments, and multiple broken bones. I mean, she did crash land after all, which is why she fell in the first place. I can't exactly take all the credit for your current state. Our leader over here has been nursing you to health ever since he saved your life. He barged into my medbay and demanded I stabilize you. If he hadn't been so hasty in getting you here, you'd be dead. So at least be courteous to him. Deku opted to leave so Petra could get dressed. There's no point in doing that. I assume that this shirt is yours, meaning you've already seen my body. Sit back down and enjoy the show. Petra got dressed in what we all know her to usually wear. The tailor explains that Deku ordered the color scheme and symbol be made into her current armor. It was a more casual version of, well, the armor she was wearing. And it seemed to work better. Deku took one look at Petra's body and knew immediately that she was indeed a warrior, so that was a good call for him. I need to get in touch with the reef. The Queen must know I'm safe. Deku handed her a mobile comm device and let her input the frequency. Aldrin answered the call. My prince, this is Emissary Venj, requesting an audience with the Queen. Aldrin didn't believe her until Deku brought up video. Mara was given the call. Ah, Petra Venj. We see that you are well. When word of your ship's destruction reached the reef, we feared the worst. Petra was getting worked up and aggravated her wounds. Deku took over. I am Guardian Izuku Midoriya, leader of this compound. Miss Venj was shot down by House Devils. I managed to save her before her ship went critical. As you can see, Miss Venj is not space-worthy at the moment. I assume your intention was to have her be an emissary for you in the tower. She can do that here when she's a little better. There are plenty of guardians here in my compound. If you would allow it, I shall return her to you myself. I feel it my responsibility for saving her life. Mara nodded her head. Emissary Venj, you shall remain in that compound and do your duty from there. You are no good to me dead. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the royal we, so we're done with that. With that, Petra accepted the hospitality Deku had extended in her new station at the compound as Queen's emissary.